Hello, welcome back to my videos. I know you guys have been missing me. This is my early morning on the way to the airport. This is honestly going to be a pretty long little series here. It's going to be like a 3-part vlog situation of what I did at the beginning of this year. This trip happened at the end of February, and I'm excited to tell you about what all happened. So, as you could tell, I was in the car on the way to JFK at 3 o'clock in the morning on February something. I don't even remember at this point. So that means I was awake earlier than that. This is me just walking around the airport, and I was on my way to Panama. This trip, it was technically pre-planned, but it wasn't necessarily something I was, in a sense, looking forward to. My dad kind of convinced me to go, but it all kind of worked out in the end, and you'll get to see why. I don't know if anyone else feels this way, but I legitimately love being in the airport. I don't know what it is about the vibe, how you could just kind of wear whatever you want. You could be whoever you want. You have like 3 hours of being like this random person in someone else's little experience. I don't know. I like being in airports. I feel like also people just act kind of crazy, and I like experiencing that. I am not traveling by myself either. This is the group I was going with, Alberti, Villa, and Marie. We are going on a medical trip, and I'll show you later on what that all entails. This is the first of 2 flights, and lucky me, I got an entire row for myself for the first leg. It is a 4-hour flight, and I got to lay down for all 4 hours, and I loved every second. I don't think I recorded this, but I flew on Copa Airlines, which I think is still part of American Airlines, something like that. And they offer like a full course meal, which I think is not common anymore. So I had like rice and chicken and a dessert and juice. It was this whole thing. So when I finally landed in Panama after waking up at 2 o'clock in the morning, I wasn't starving. As a lot of you know, I grew up in South America. I grew up in Venezuela. Outside of Venezuela, Panama is like number 2. I love being in Panama City. I love the people. I love the country. It's very similar to where I grew up, but this is not necessarily where we're going to be at for most of our stay. We are taking a flight directly from Panama City to David, Panama. The first thing we have to do, though, since we're entering a new country, is obviously go through immigration. That first section we were just in would have messed us up entirely because they told us that we did not have to go through immigration. What they meant was that we didn't have to go through immigration there, which obviously made no sense. They told us that we had to go all the way to this immigration. Actually, they didn't even tell us. They just gave us back our passports and told us to go away. We decided to try again so that we weren't in the country illegally, and then we got our passports stamped. Since our main luggage were already en route to our second plane, all we had to do was check our carry-ons and go to plane number 2. Before going, though, we did end up stopping at this very overpriced cafe outside of the only domestic terminal that they had. Like, it was literally just one gate with one seating. It was crazy. Like, that's it. That little entrance right there. That's all it is. So we ate first before going in because there were no bathrooms, nothing after passing through that security line. So we decided to eat first, then go through. I believe Panama only has 2 airports, so that domestic gate situation would only take us to the only other airport in the whole country, basically. So I think that's why there's only 1 gate. I don't know why. It made no sense to me, honestly, why we were locked in a glass box, but whatever. This flight was notably shorter than the first one, only 45 minutes. Technically, it should have taken that, but it was a little longer because we had to go around this massive lightning storm. Like, I shortened it, but there was lightning, like, about to hit me in the face. The airport that we ended up landing at was so small, they didn't have one of those machines that like connected to the airplane door. Like, we had to walk on the tarmac, and getting luggage out of this small little baggage claim was the most chaotic thing that I've had to do this entire year so far. But once we got them, we had a ride pick us up and take us to my aunt's house / my dad's house. We might have eaten something. I picked my bed and took a shower, went to sleep. Not much else to do that day, to be honest. Yes. It's the following day, and today is Sunday. So since this is like a medical trip with a church, we are going to go to that church to meet the people we're going to be working with and to see the layout of our first little medical situation. And I am trying to show you the property, my dad's, house, and she's not leaving my shot. But this is our house in David, Chiriquí, Panama. So we drove for about 10 minutes before we reached our location. We met everyone, we experienced their church service, and afterwards one of the members took us to one of their, open markets, so that we can buy food for the rest of the week. So my aunt had planned on buying fish for us to have prepared when we showed up the day before, but that didn't work out. So she brought all of us to the place where she usually buys her fish and had them select the fish they wanted. I believe they went with the red snapper, but they were all going nuts and bargaining prices and doing... I stayed out of it. It was above my pay grade. After leaving the fish lady, we went outside and got some corn and plantain and marchita and what else did we get? Oh my goodness. We got watermelon. We got so many things, and all in all, like the whole thing, not including the fish, cost $10. I think the fish itself was just $30. So pretty cheap. Once we left that location, we went to the church member's house to pick up the actual medications we'd be using in the medical trip. And then we came back to the house. This is just another shot of the property. My dad ended up showing up later on that day and invited us all to eat dinner. So here is us doing that. Obviously, we all didn't fit, and since I am the youngest, guess where they chucked me? They chucked me in the trunk of the car. But the food was good, so I can't complain too much. Once we got back, we went to the main house, which is, I guess, my dad's house, whatever, and started organizing all the medications. And then afterwards we started, well, not we, they started preparing the fish that they bought. I was not involved in this whatsoever, but let me tell you, did I enjoy the benefits. This fish was being prepared overnight or the next day, and it was too good. Too good. It is the next day, early morning, and we are preparing to start our medical reason for being in the country. Maybe there were just a couple second thoughts. I felt like there wasn't necessarily a great plan at the time. I didn't necessarily know what I was walking into. I've never practiced my nursing skills in another country. I didn't know the medications. So I was not necessarily nervous, just very, very, how do I say, apprehensive. Very apprehensive. But this is us arriving to the church, not in church clothes, but ready to, I don't know, save lives. So the first thing we did after showing up is, with the help of the, locals, the people who go to this church, is set up the stations. This station that you see right there is registration and vital signs. The table in the back is going to be medications, none of which are prescription, by the way. All of these are over-the-counter medications. We also had tables at the back, which you see there. Those are where the doctors are going to be sitting, because we were working with doctors from Panama. If the patients that showed up needed prescriptions and medications, the doctors would write a quote-unquote prescription. Getting medications in these countries is a little different. You don't necessarily need I don't know how to say, like an actual green slip prescription. You could kind of just go to a pharmacy and buy it. So they would tell them, hey, you need this, and then they just kind of go get it. Food was also provided for the workers, and this is me just getting that food. It wasn't that bad, to be honest, for day one. Most of it was vital signs and triage, basically. Day one, we just had a lot of hypertension and one undiagnosed diabetic that they hadn't eaten breakfast. Their blood sugar was like 450 something. It was kind of crazy. So that was it. We were here for like a total of 9 hours doing this and saw about 115 patients day one. Not too shabby, I shall say. Now this right here is the best spot. I had my auntie and 2 Haitian women cooking me some fish, girl. And when I say fish, they had this thing seasoning overnight in the fridge in a plastic bag. I didn't even know what they were doing. We had yuca, we had piclis, I don't even know what that is. We had corn, and guess where I was? In my bed, reading a book the whole time. This is them cooking the fish again. We had jugo de parchita. We I don't know, passion fruit juice, like straight from the passion fruit. Girl, we had plantain. Girl, I was full. We had fried plantain. I forgot we had patacones. We had the flat plantain too. I was full. And this is me after being on a calorie deficit. Yo, I had not eaten this good in so long. Ugh. So we did not have to wake up this early because everyone else showed up late. But this is us waking up at 5 o'clock in the morning to go to our second location of where we're doing this medical trip. We are now going to the mountains of Chiriquí. This is where the indigenous people of Panama mostly live. Way, way up in the mountains, like way up, girl. So we're driving like an hour into Panama to then drive up the mountain. And you might notice a little difference with Panama and Costa Rica from my previous videos. Even though they're literally right next to each other, Panama is a little drier, whereas Costa Rica is a rainforest. So that's why it all kind of looks, I mean, it's still green, but just looks a little different. Las Lajas, what I'm pointing at right there, that's where I used to live. That's where our house used to be. And now we live an hour away in David, Panama. That's all I'm showing you. So we drove an hour, Las Lajas is that way, and now we're going up into the mountains of San Feliz to Chiriquí. I believe I'm saying that correctly. So after getting locked in the bathroom in this establishment, buying some breakfast, we all showed up and started driving up the mountain. You need a very specific car to do this. You cannot do this in, I don't know, a Camry. You will end up dead. So we found the trucks and started driving up. Just a little side note. If you did watch my video of the Costa Rica trip and we were driving in the mountains and we almost died, basically imagine these roads just at a 90-degree angle going up. And we did do it in a Camry. So basically we almost died. But this is a mild version of what we did. And it's you could see how we almost ended our lives. What I think is very interesting about the people of Chiriquí, Panama is that they could legitimately be born, live and die on these mountains and never come off of it. The beach is, I think, not even 10 miles away from them, and a lot of them never see it. But this is where we will be doing our mission, I guess, or medical moment. Most of the people that showed up by word of mouth. And let me tell you, they showed up. Oh my God, I'm pointing all over there. I don't know if you could see in the camera, all of those little houses and huts. They showed up, girl. We first had to set the whole area up almost the same as how we had it the day before, but taking into account that way more people will be here at a time. The day before was basically just a practice run. Was a mild little, cute little practice run of what we were going through. We didn't even finish setting up before people showed up. We weren't even done. So this is us getting started. You see registration at the back, my table's in the middle, and then we had an additional table, nutrition. They were really busy because most of the people would be seeing them while being seen by the doctor as well. A lot of the people that were being seen were also children. A lot of the parents showed up not to see themselves, but for that their kids could get seen so that the nutritionist or the doctor could see if anything is wrong with them. Many of these people don't see the doctor, so it just really put a lot of things in perspective, and I'm thankful to be of service to them, you know, be someone that could provide some help. Not a lot, obviously, we're just providing over-the-counter medications, but at least say, hey, your blood pressure's good, and so on. This is the meal that they provided for us. It is called mono, or monkey. And you might think, oh my God, Liz, did you eat monkey? And I would say, I wish I did. No, it is called mono because this is apparently a leaf that the monkeys eat, but it's really just rice and beans and mystery meat. What is the meat? I don't know. I would like to say not monkey, but I make no promises. No, I think that's Sunday. Sunday's not first. So this event did not last as long simply because we ran out of medications. So we left, and then my dad invited everyone to gelato in the city. So basically an hour and a half drive after leaving. We ended up having some ice cream, which was nice. And then we went home and I read. And when I tell you, I've been in the worst reading slump for like a year. I got a Kindle. I've read like 10 books since the beginning of this year. It's been a life changer, honestly. After relaxing a little bit, my aunt wanted to take us on a field trip and I forget where this place is, but the name will show up eventually. So this is up in the mountains, I think just in the opposite direction. This place is like cold, and this is where a lot of expats go. This family that we walked by, they were just very clearly German. The little kid was having a temper tantrum. Very funny. But a lot of, international people live in this town because the climate is not as hot as David. And they make a lot of money because people forget it's cold, and as we're doing right now, everyone else is buying jackets. But it is a very pretty town. They have like a flower show situation every year. Boquete. No? Boquete? Yes, Boquete. This is called Boquete, Panama, up in the mountains, very cold. And yeah, we just came to look around and see the sights. We ended up eating dinner here as well. So we had the choice of all these pretty restaurants on this end. And when you see where we ended up eating, like, you're gonna be disappointed. We picked the raunchiest, well, not we, because I was not involved in that decision. They picked the raunchiest restaurant on the block, but whatever. It was slightly raining. I don't know if you could tell my glasses, it was like drizzling a bit. But people were still out, people were still enjoying the day. I think to enter that flower place on the right there, it's like $1 just to walk around. It seemed pretty big. It goes further than my camera can see. But yeah, my aunt and I took a lot of pictures because this was like our first trip together in a very long time. We used to travel a lot together by ourselves, so that's all that is. Go to my video. So I'm not complaining because the food was okay. But those other restaurants, you know, like you saw them, right? We picked like a gas station stop type restaurant. But the food was good. Okay, so again, I can't complain. But I have my opinions on where we ate. But whatever. So we wanted something sweet after eating, so we stopped at a regular old supermarket. I ended up getting breakfast for the next day because my flight was early and I would not have had time for cooking. So I got empanadas and guayaba strips. That was my little dessert. And the next day, we got a taxi that was gonna take me to the airport and them to the rent-a-car because they were not staying. They were gonna drive all the way back to Panama City. That's a 6-hour drive. And since they couldn't change their plane tickets, they just decided to drive there, stay 2 days, and drive back. Spending time in Panama this time has me seriously considering where I'll be living for the rest of my life. And since I have no man, no child, it's looking pretty good. It's real cheap down there. You know, a mortgage is $300 a month, so I don't know. I don't know. I might end up somewhere else. But this is me showing up at the airport a good long time. Jesus. Early, and thankfully early because a bus showed up right after I got there and ruined the line, but I got through it before they messed it up. So I checked my bag, and since I had time and it's a small airport, I just walked with my aunt and my companions to where they were renting their car just to say goodbye and then walk back into the airport and witness one of the smallest airports I've been at. I've been at a pretty small airport I've been at quote unquote airports that's just like a strip in a jungle. Like I've been to one of those too. But this is literally just one gate. But they still make all the announcements overhead as if it were like the biggest airport you can imagine. In the span of an hour and a half that I was sitting in there, 2 flights left before mine. So it's a pretty busy airport considering its size. It was a lot of fun though, because not often do you get your boarding pass checked and then walk out onto the airport grounds, like an airport worker. But it's like a niche little experience for living out in the middle of nowhere, right? So this is me walking to my airplane. And then this airplane also did something I've never had an airplane do. You would think we're about to take off. No. The thing is pulling a U-turn. You see it? It pulled a U-turn before taking off. Personally, that's a first for me. I've never had a plane do that. I just thought the landing strip was extra long. I was like, it's not getting faster yet. It's just because it had whatever. But the views outside of this plane window, honestly exceptional, and I'm about to show you, because I don't think I've seen mountains like this in a while with people on top of them. People living on top of said mountains. So this flight has to first go to the main city before it takes me to my next location. But the cool thing is that I saw the wait for the Panama Canal on the way. So all these boats are waiting for the Panama Canal to go to their destination, I guess. I thought that was pretty cool. So this is me landing in Tocumen in Panama City. And then I'm taking another plane to my next location. Where that location is, you're just gonna have to wait to see, because I have to run first. This thing dropped me off at one end of the airport, and I have to go quite literally all the way to the other end. Did I make it? You'll have to find out next time.